Alright guys, this is your section 1.3 notes, and today we're going to be doing some addition. We're going to be finding the sum of various problems. Sum is the answer to an addition problem, but the trick is some of these integers that you're going to be adding together are going to be negative. Now a lot of you might be saying, oh, this is simple, and that is wonderful if you think this is simple. The only thing is that you're not going to be allowed to use a calculator whatsoever from here on out in this chapter. Okay? What? No calculator? That's right. So it's important and it's helpful for the rest of the school year if you know how to do this without a calculator, because it's just going to make your life a lot easier and it's going to make your math work a lot faster if you know how to add and subtract these without a calculator. So some people like to use a number line when we're adding and subtracting. This is here for you if you need it. I'm going to hopefully teach you some rules where you don't even need that at all. But if you do need it, it's there for you. So let's jump into some rules here. So what are our rules for adding positive and negative integers? We're going to come back to this in a minute. But our first rule is when you're adding two numbers that have the same sign, so they're either both plus, so a positive plus a positive, or we're either going to have a negative plus a negative. Okay, so either one of those examples, you're going to add the values together and you're going to take the sign that both numbers have. Okay, so if they're both positive, your answer is going to be positive. If they're both negative, then your answer is going to be negative. So both numbers have. Okay, so let's look at some examples. All of these integers have the same sign. So a negative plus a negative, positive plus a positive, negative times a negative again. Whenever you see that they have the same sign, we're going to add those two things together and take the sign that both answers have, or both integers have. So a negative 3 plus a negative 2, if I add 3 and 2, my answer is going to be 5. And since they're both negative, I'm going to make it a negative 5. So think of it this way. If you owe me $3, and then the next day you borrow another $2, altogether you owe me $5. What a jerk. Give me my money. Okay? So think of it in terms of money. Sometimes that helps. But if they have the same sign, add them together, take the sign that they both have. Okay? You guys try 2 and 3. All right, moving down below, this is our second rule. Second and last rule for adding. But when you have two numbers that you're adding together and they have different signs, I know this is going to sound strange, but you're actually going to subtract those two numbers and you're going to take the sign of the bigger number. Okay, so let me explain that. So, all of these examples down here, one is a positive number added to a negative number. Negative plus a positive, positive plus a negative. When you have opposite signs, it's helpful if you think of subtracting them, and you're going to take whatever sign is bigger. So let's look at example number 1. So we have 3 plus a negative 2. Subtract 3 and 2, and what would you get? You get 1. Oh my gosh, what is that, Mrs. Sanford? That's not a 1. Let's try that again. So we have a 1. And then which number is bigger? 3 is bigger than 2. So that means my answer is going to be positive. Okay? Or you could think of it this way. I have $3 in my pocket, and then I lose 2. So how many are I left with? Well, I'm left with $1. Okay? All right, so let's go back to my saying up here. Which team won? You're going to hear me say this a lot because that helps a lot when you are adding two different signs. So let's do our little which team won in example number 2. We have two different signs. Okay, I'm going to subtract those two numbers. 7 minus 2 is 5. And then which team won? Did the negative team have more or did the positive team have more? Well, my negative team is bigger. So that team wins. So my answer has to be negative. Okay, the negative team won. Okay, I'm going to have you guys try example 3. Don't use a calculator. Try it on your own using this rule. All right, we're going to practice this, but no calculator. Don't cheat. All right? That's how you add positive and negative integers.